Good morning.
How's everybody doing?
I hope you're doing as well as we are. It was nice to have a good long weekend.
Great. We are hash down Meltdown Monday.
Hash down? Hashtag Meltdown Monday. We are melting down.
We are. What did I say?
Hash down.
Hash down Meltdown Monday. We are talking about the power of full engagement.
Full engagement.
What's that mean to you?
To me, it's being truly intentional that we're living every moment, including our time off, which I was remarking to Matt, my husband, yesterday. I think I did a really great job this weekend of decompressing. Saturday, I did not look at email, which is rare, and just really spent time with Hogan. I took 2 naps, his morning nap and his afternoon nap. And then Sunday, I started, of course, watched Inside Business and checked some email and did a few things that I calendared. And then the rest of the time, relaxed a little bit. So, and that's been a struggle for me, is when it's time to relax, I can't turn my brain off. So I was intentionally relaxing.
Great. So we're talking about the idea of managing energy, not time. And that's kind of what you talked about right there.
Absolutely.
Because we are so overwhelmed today with everything coming with us 90 miles an hour. Social media, we're on 24/7, 365. We never really turn it off. I don't know about you, but when I hear a ping or a bing,
Your
I
heart
have.
rate goes, your blood
Right.
pressure spikes.
Right. And I don't know. I have my own business. So I'm constantly, I've got to be there for my clients. And I treat
Sure.
every client as my only client. And with relationships, that's kind of how you have to do it. So what we're doing is we're focusing on the power of full engagement. And the idea is this kind of deep thinking of those first 3 hours of the day
Yeah.
of how do you spend that? And do you spend your first 3 hours? A lot of people like to kind of work into the day, and Tony Robbins hits it with a cold shower.
It
Like,
sounds terrible.
I've tried it. I can't do it. Some people like to work in their day with reading the paper,
Getting information in.
getting
I
information.
bet it's a creative time for you, I bet.
Well, they say don't read your emails. There's all these different ways you can
The time sucks. Don't spend that critical time when your energy is most fresh doing the things that can deplete you.
Right, right. Well, I'm like you. I like to get to spend that time getting up and working out, getting that out of the way because I feel like that gives me more energy for the day. Right.
I feel like it does.
Okay, so let's jump into it. What are the 3 things we're going to do to be more productive today to make our day more productive?
Number 1, schedule
Okay.
your activity.
Okay.
Lauren Schwartz talk about a study of people trying to overcome addiction, and 80% of the people who made a commitment to do something before 5 p.m. didn't do it. But 80% of the people who set a specific time and place to do that activity did it.
Okay.
So it's all about setting yourself up for success. This is the time and place I'm going to do it, specificity, and managing your energy around that, in and out. And I really like the idea of kind of like interval training. We know how efficient that is for our bodies. Maybe we can use that concept for our minds. I'm going to go hard for an hour, and I'm going to take a 10-minute break where I meditate or breathe or go for a walk and completely de-stress my body and really focus energy on that so that I can come back with the right mindset.
Okay, so that's tip number 1. We're going to write it down. We're going to commit it to paper the night before.
Yeah.
And we're looking at these
At least the night before.
at least the night before, so I think it's realistic. And we're calling these 90-minute spurts, which everyone's talking about. Commit to turning off your phone, and we can't multitask. We can't try to do 3 things at once. I cannot look at my phone and work on a project. So I'm writing down and I'm just focusing on one single task
Yeah.
for 90 minutes and nothing else.
Yeah.
Okay. Tip number 2.
Tip number 2, I kind of started going into it a little bit there. Well, what would you say tip number 2 is? I don't want to be giving all the tips here.
Well, I think the tip number 2 is you've got to whatever. I like Jim Waller and the power of full engagement. I think that everyone has someone that they turn to, right? And have whatever your guru or source is, if it's Tony Robbins or Gary Vaynerchuk or Jim Waller, or have your I use the word guru, or have someone that you follow or read daily.
Okay, yeah.
I think that's real important that you turn to someone that you kind of turn to for inspiration.
Sure.
And if that's first thing in the morning, but I always think that's helpful that kind of gives you that daily inspiration.
So important. And whether it's somebody that you follow on social media or a mentor or your higher power,
Right,
like that is so important to get fed.
right.
For we know about the importance of our nutrition and feeding ourselves physically. How are we feeding ourselves emotionally and spiritually?
Yeah.
We're spiritual creatures.
Yeah, and that's what we're trying to do with hashtag Meltdown Monday. We go out and tell these stories of these fascinating people that are making a difference in the community, but that are really, if it's Mark Criswell, or I know you're going out to talk to Peggy Marshall and kind
That's
of
right.
see
At the
her.
art station.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll do things in here that are, I like the word teachable moments,
Yeah.
but also going out and seeing these storytellers to see how they're doing, because these right branders are so dedicated to their craft.
That's right.
And how they kind of do things. And
So many resources out there, so many people with this creativity, and so often we think, wow, I'm so impressed with that person. How do they do that? And we forget that when we are working in our strengths, people say the same thing about us.
yeah,
So let's stop the comparisons
absolutely.
and just look at, we have things to learn from other people and other people have things to learn from us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Tip number 3.
Tip number 3.
I think
Well, we mentioned getting fed, but also that the first hour of the day, the first 3 hours of the day, how are we spending that and making? Now, I know you buy into more of the first 3 hours may need to be your critical conceptual hours in terms of your cognitive abilities, but I think people need to test it, because if somebody's a night owl and they know that their energy is best at 10 p.m., then that's their most productive hour. So I think we take ideas like we see in the Power of Full Engagement and we test it out. If that works for us and fuels us, empowers us, and our effectiveness increases, then we go with that. Or we can take that same idea and plug it in at the time of day that we are best. At 10 o'clock, it's not me, but Matt's a night owl, and he's fantastic
right.
at 9 and 10 p.m.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like a race car, or
Yeah.
as a tennis player. I mean, I'm watching the U.S. Open right now, and as a tennis player, you have to be prepared to play your matches at all different times of the day,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
And
Got to be ready to go.
right. So last night at 10 o'clock, Roger Federer was playing his match. So sometimes you play at 9 o'clock, and sometimes you play at midnight.
Yeah.
So it's really preparing your body, and that's where it goes back to managing energy.
And when is it go time?
Right. So if you're focusing on your time, then because my clients dictate when I have to be at my best.
True.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a 10:30 meeting this morning. If I tell myself I'm not a morning person, and I say I'm not really available to meet at 10:30 because I'm not a morning person.
10:30 is mid-morning.
Not if I'm not a morning person. I go, oh, I don't want to meet a morning. I'd rather, can we make that 1 o'clock? So I have to then, even though I went to bed at 4 o'clock, I have
Yeah.
to say I have to get up earlier, right?
Or you go to bed earlier too. Like we can shift our rhythm a little bit within like kind of zones. We're not going to agree on this, but that's okay.
what do they say that when you go to counseling, they say, let's agree to disagree.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're getting
can
close
do
to
that.
wrapping up, and this is true. And this is something we can kind of talk about. But I think today you have to be versatile, right?
You
We
do.
have to be able to juggle many things
Mm-hmm.
and do things many different ways. But with you have to be, your favorite word is what?
Fun.
Flexible. Fun.
Fun too. Fun and
Fun
flexible.
and fun and flexible.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
Chris Quinn,
and I'm Marianne Means Dufresne.
and you're watching,
Hashtag Meltdown Monday on Tuesday.
and we are talking about
The power.
of,
Full engagement.
right, and what it all means. And I think there's a lot to it, and we're going to be talking about this month while we go out and talk to a lot of really cool people. Chad Isham has committed to talking to you.
Awesome.
I'd say
I
so.
love Chad.
Yeah, he's like, that's going to be a cool story.
That'll be great.
Chris Yates is going to talk to me tomorrow. But anyway, back to this full engagement.
Yeah.
You can see how we can kind of go. I think I'm a night guy, I'm a morning guy, I got to be a guy for whatever.
You're an all day kind of guy.
Thank you. Anyway, look, stay tuned. Let us know what you think about engaging. We're going to come back with we're going to do some kind of 1 minute teasers on this and talk about managing energy, not time. It's the key to high performance and personal renewal.
It's huge.
Yeah. And we look forward to seeing you on
Hashtag Meltdown Monday.
Have a Great Week.
Bye, guys.
Push that one out for me, will you?